Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to CCN. Well, we take a look at the events and the situation in Iran with the United States and Canada and pretty much the world, and how we got to this point. And this has been going on for decades. This didn't just start with President Trump. Soleimani, he did the killing for the Iranian theocrats, and he implemented the policies of the mullahs. The Iranians did not expect President Trump to take him out. When Jimmy Carter, when he was president, he was looked at by the Iranians as a spineless coward, and they looked at America as a weak nation. They stormed the embassy and took 52 hostages. Carter's rescue mission failed terribly. It was run by politically appointed General David Jones, who waited too long to act. Reagan showed strength, but Obama was so weak he was giving Iran more than they were asking. Obama left office a failed president. His domestic policy and foreign policies were both failures. Democrats know this, and they hate the success of President Trump. Obama's domestic policy left black Americans $900 short in income after 2 terms. Under Trump, in 11 months, black Americans have an increase of $1,000. The Democrats hate that. Obama released $150 billion in frozen assets to Iran and another $1.7 billion secretly in cash. Obama, John Kerry, Hillary Clinton tried to bribe them in order to get them to make some kind of artificial peace. It just made America look stupid and cowardly. They take the money and nothing changes. Business as usual. When the Iranians showed on television the American sailors kneeling with their hands on their heads, was their way of showing power and strength over the Americans. They thought they could take money and carry on with the nuclear program with immunity. No inspections without 30 days notice, no verification, and Obama agreed to it. Under Clinton, when Iranian-backed terrorists or Iranian-controlled terrorists attacked with car bomb, killing 18 American Air Force personnel in Saudi Arabia, Clinton did nothing. Iranians seen they could do what they wanted because America was weak. Now with Trump, a drone is shot down. A second drone is hit. He doesn't respond. There's an attack on Saudi Arabia, wiping out 50% of Saudi oil refining. In the U.S., no response. But there was cyber warfare happening and economic warfare to shut Iran down and save lives on both sides. A military attack on Iran would create patriotism in Iran against the U.S., so Trump wanted to weaken the mullahs internally by sanctions. It worked. It worked to end the Cold War. It's better to beat them economically than militarily. That works up to a certain point. Obama drew a red line in the sand and warned Syria and Iran not to cross it. But they crossed it, and nothing was done. And Obama was, in their eyes, a coward whose words were meaningless. He actually rewarded them with cash. Carter, Clinton, and Obama made America weak. Enter Trump. Economic war, plus fracking and oil production. No more relying on Middle East oil. This has been a disaster for Iran, Venezuela, OPEC, and Russia. Putin relied on instability in the Middle East because it would artificially drive up the price of Russian oil and natural gas for export and bring in foreign exchange. Russia's only major export, other than weapons, mostly, a little bit of gold. Deregulation of fracking has made the U.S. the largest producer of oil and the second biggest consumer, and becoming an exporter, and is already second and maybe first exporter of natural gas and liquid gas. U.S. still has lots of coal reserves. The Permian Basin in Texas and the Dakotas now have influence on what happens in Russia, OPEC, Middle East. U.S. also has oil and gas in Alaska, California, Gulf of Mexico. Saudi Arabia is in financial trouble and trying to wean citizens off of oil. They need oil to be over $80 a barrel, and it isn't. Venezuela, communists have destroyed their economy and their refineries and oil production. Their infrastructure is rusting and falling apart. Largest proven reserves in the world. They can't get it out. 21% of all oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. Japan and South Korea are 90 to 95% depending on it, and they need it. The U.S. doesn't, and they don't need Canadian oil either. West Texas intermediate price is below $60 a barrel. This hurts the Middle East, OPEC, and Russia. The North Sea is $65 U.S. a barrel. The Trump administration changed oil production. It doubled. They doubled production in 3 years. When Iran and Russia lose their funds and become desperate, Russia's supporting Assad regime in Syria and sold technology to Iran, and so has China. Meanwhile, China is destroying its own Islamic population. They are anti-Semitic, and Iran knows it, but they still do business together. So the sanctions are working. Iran gets desperate and sees America as weak and tests Trump with shooting down the drone and other aggressions. Then the embassy attack. After the attack on an American base, which an American civilian military contractor is killed. The victim, the MSM won't tell you this, the victim was an Arab-American Muslim born in Iraq. A naturalized American citizen, and that's when Trump struck back. Trump has said in the past, an American is an American, no matter race, religion, or gender, all are equal. President Trump has said that many times. Soleimani orchestrated an attack on the American embassy, creating a political equation inside the U.S. One of the main things that contributed to the defeat of Hillary Clinton in 2016 was the Benghazi attack on the embassy. She lied and got caught. Susan Rice lied and got caught. Obama lied and got caught trying to cover up for Hillary and Susan Rice's lies. The Dems wanted the Baghdad embassy to be Trump's Benghazi. It's an election year. They thought that could prevent Trump from being re-elected. When Trump struck back twice, the Iranians were shocked and surprised. Trump said he was ready to hit 52 targets, including cultural. That's not mosques, and it's not monuments like the press says. It's where they store weapons. They're in cultural pavilions. These places is where they hide their ordnances, rockets, and nuclear technology in Iran. The 52 targets were in reference to the hostages because Trump knows Iranians have long memories. They relate what's happening now to what happened then. The mullahs had to save face, so they fired a volley of rockets at 2 U.S. bases in Iraq. 4 fell missing any target. They fell short. 11 did minimal damage, no deaths or injuries. It was deliberate and symbolic because they know a war with the U.S. is the end of their regime. That's why they hit the bases that don't have Patriot missiles or any missile defense. Iraqi parliament's vote to have U.S. leave was a minority vote because it was boycotted by Shia and Sunnis and Kurds. It was not a full vote and is only symbolic. Iraq is not producing much oil, and they need the U.S. presence. They need the U.S. money. Trump says Iran is standing down, so more sanctions are coming. More cyber warfare, too. Europe can't deal with Iran for business or help because it will be shut out of the massive American market. Trump says New Deal, but China, Russia, and Germany have to get on board. Iran will not get nuclear weapons. Only the Democrats, and I will say the Liberals in Canada, mourned the death of Soleimani. A video of Biden as a member of Senate has surfaced back in the days of President Clinton, and he was calling for legislation to allow President Clinton to respond to a terrorist attack without authorization of Congress. Imagine that. Now Biden says what Trump did was reckless and irresponsible, and they want that changed. Soleimani killed over 600 Americans, I think it was 608 actually, and maimed thousands. That's just Americans, not counting any other of the allies. Trump removes him and is called reckless and irresponsible. And that is going on with the mainstream media around the world, including right in Canada. It's disgraceful. Obama used many drones to take out terrorists irregularly, and no reaction from the media. When Trump did it, they call it political assassination. They're still calling it that. And they still call that downed airliner a crash, even though it was shot down. Even after Iran admitted to shooting it down, you listen to it, and they call it a political assassination and an airline crash. It's disgusting. Ilhan Omar, she called it an assassination of an official of a foreign government. She's disgusting. In Canada, I just watched yesterday, Donna Friesen on Global News interviewed Trudeau. The questions were obviously skewed and reviewed before the cameras were turned on. Eventually, she asked if the actions of President Trump led to the downing of the aircraft. Trudeau answered in his third-rate actor persona, looking like a grieving PM. Not too convincing. He's a very poor actor. And he just whispers as now he's changed. He's a fraud, folks. It's just not convincing. Anyways, he said he does not point fingers or blame until a full investigation is completed. I think, this is my feeling, is that Trudeau is in cahoots with the UN and the U.S. Democrats. I believe he does not care if the country breaks up. I think he's hoping for a Democrat, a U.S. government, which he's not going to get, and the North American Union, which would force the West, if they did separate, to join anyway. So he's so involved with the United Nations and with the United States Democrats and other powers that be, that I still think they're pushing this North American Union in behind the scenes. Don't have any fear, because Trump's winning 2020, folks. Democrats are going to lose, and Trudeau's going to be gone. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Bye for now. God bless.